The Environmental Protection Agency says it plans on weakening restrictions on so-called forever chemicals in drinking water. Forever chemicals are also called PFAS. These are man-made substances that can take thousands of years to break down in the environment. They're found in non-stick cookware, personal care products, food packaging, and have been linked to things like cancer and low birth weight in babies. The Biden administration set the first federal drinking water limits for PFAS last year. The EPA's plan gets rid of limits on 3 types of PFAS. It will, however, keep Biden-era limits for 2 types, called PFOA and PFOS. Keeping them at the lowest level, they can still be detected. The agency will extend the compliance date to 2031 for those. In a statement to CBS News, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin said, quote, "We are on a path to uphold the agency's nationwide standards to protect Americans from PFOA and PFOS in their water. At the same time, we will work to provide common sense flexibility in the form of additional time for compliance." Well, Erik Olson joins us now from Washington. He's a senior strategic director for health at the Natural Resources Defense Council, an environmental organization that has sued over PFAS in the past and pushed the EPA to pass these regulations. First of all, thank you for being with us, Erik. Can you tell us more about these PFAS and why your organization wanted to pass these regulations, some of which are being rolled back now?
Sure. Well, these chemicals are just exquisitely toxic. We're talking about parts per trillion that they have adverse effects, including, as you mentioned, certain types of cancer, kidney cancer, testicle cancer, also impacts on developing babies. So they're toxic at very low levels, which is why it's so important to actually crack down on it. And EPA says that as many as 105 million people have these toxic chemicals in their drinking water, and that's just an unacceptable situation.
What does the rollback of parts of this rule mean?
Well, the key thing is that there were 6 of these PFAS chemicals that EPA regulated last year, and now they're saying they're going to pull back 4 of those 6 standards, and they're leaving 2 in the place, but extending the compliance deadline, as you mentioned, to 2031. So people are going to be drinking this stuff for many, many years, and by this rollback, by this weakening and elimination, they called it a repeal, basically, of 4 of the standards, millions of people are not going to be protected against these toxic chemicals. It's a big problem, and we think it's absolutely the wrong move.
Water utility associations say that the rules are too costly, will raise people's bills and fall hardest on small communities with little resources. The Biden administration did include some $9 billion in the infrastructure law to address these concerns, but what do you say to those utilities?
Well, as you said, there's $9 billion already set aside in the bipartisan infrastructure law to help water utilities pay for this. And also, the water utilities sued the polluters and got $12.5 billion in a settlement. So there's over $20 billion sitting on the table right now for the water utilities to use to try to clean this up. So I think what we really need to focus on is let's get this job done. Let's not drag our feet. I'd like to see the water utilities basically pull up their pants and say, we know we've got a problem. We're just going to fix it. We've got quite a bit of federal money, a lot of settlement money. Let's just go ahead and take care of this problem and protect our customers. But unfortunately, they're sort of being dragged kicking and screaming, and now we have the administration saying we're going to roll the requirements back.
All right. Erik Olson, thank you.
Thank you.